Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today with a layout in my Life Crafted album of myself and my now 12-year-old having a coffee together on his birthday. We went shopping and I think that it deserves a lovey-dovey layout. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to work with the Cocoa Daisy Papery collection, and I had an idea to first of all, like a look at me grow type of layout with this measuring tape. And then also I really like the idea of adding like this as my main title page with this as my coordinating background, but it's a little bit much for me. So I'm thinking I need some like division here. That's probably too much too, but I'm thinking pink or white or something to break up some of that measuring tape paper. And also for some reason, my printer is printing my photos a little bit with a green tinge no matter what I do. So this photo came out a little bit green, so it needs some separation from that green background. But yeah, that is where I'm starting. I think I want a large title over here, and I'm gonna need somewhere to add in some journaling. And I'm working, this is the 4th page I've done with this collection. So I'm kind of working with the scraps I've got here. I've got lots of paper left, but I always love working with the scraps. So that is my intention for the day. So hopefully I can get some of these taken care of, but let's get started.
Ooh, Lordy, this was one of those struggle bus layouts, and they happen sometimes. It's just part of the process. I do end up with something that makes me happy, but isn't necessarily what I was initially going for, but that's okay. We all have layouts like that, and I like to take you through the layouts that don't really come together magically as well, because it's okay to normalize failed experiments and just, being a regular everyday crafter. So I am sort of shuffling through all of these bits and bobs that I have on the side here. You can see me. I'm actually tapping to the music I was listening to while I was thinking. It's so funny watching myself do this kind of stuff because I definitely see my little quirks, my little stimming behaviors when I'm watching videos back that I don't necessarily notice in the current moment. So I decided to eliminate some of that green, or at least try to, in the color cast in my photo by matting it with pink. And then I had the idea to sort of cut out these measuring tapes in a way that like kind of made them like a paper strip border rather than just a solid wall of measuring tapes. I'm going to just cut out some of them to make the border offset. And right now I have it so that the measuring tapes are horizontal, but I'm going to take the photo off. And when I put it back, I'm like, duh, this needs to be vertical, especially since the vertical measuring tapes will sort of mimic the pens on the other side. Now, if I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't try to pair the pen paper with this layout. I think that it's part of the reason why it felt a little bit discombobulated and a little bit, I'm like, why is there a string? Because my dog ripped my sweater. A little bit discombobulated, a little bit like I was trying to force 2 different themes together, which I think is what I struggled with a little bit. But I left the pen paper as part of the layout, and so that's kind of where I'm headed here and why there was a little bit of a struggle. That's okay. Again, not everything is going to be perfect all the time. So I'm just notching some of these off so that they are just as staggered on the bottom as they are on the top. And so that sort of mimics those pens over there. And I'm going to further emphasize these paper strips by using these scraps that I have on the left-hand side here and making more paper strips. So I decided that that paper was not what I wanted in the background. Even though I love the hearts, it just didn't ground the layout enough. I don't actually love this sort of brownish yellow paper. Yellow is my kid's favorite color, but this is sort of a dirty yellow, and so I don't really love it, especially paired with that bright paper on the left-hand side. But it was, excuse me, the best option. So I decided to just sort of cover it up as much as possible with some more of these papers so that it wasn't a huge impact on the layout. So I'm trying to incorporate in lots of little color strips, trying not to incorporate too much green or blue because obviously there's a lot in the measuring tapes themselves. So I'm just trying to add in a little bit of color to match the color on the other side. So I've got the paper strips cut out and I'm just going to start putting them down one by one across the background. This also gives the cluster a little bit more vertical emphasis, and I don't actually add a lot to the right hand side of the page, so this is going to create the impact that I need to make the page feel done and you know, completed, so that it doesn't just look like I've got this weird mat hanging out. All right, I need one more. I decided to go with the plus signs and white to sort of brighten up the right hand side. And I think that looks a lot better. We're going to cover up a lot of this like dirty yellow that I don't really love, and I think that that's very helpful. Okay, so here we are. And I'm gonna say I cut out quite a bit in this video because I did a whole like half an hour of work that I just ended up throwing away and not liking. So you'll see the sort of remnants of that here in a minute after I start adding in my title, and I'll explain then. But you can see that I'm already just sort of struggling here and not knowing what to put on this page. So that comes across with putting this sticker down before I put a sort of matting sticker down, so having to pull everything up. And I actually end up, what's funny is my kid ended up calling me while I was creating this layout of him, and he needed to come home from school sick. So I end up just going, okay, you know what, I'm going to stop this here, and I'm going to come back to it when I'm feeling a little bit more inspired. So I basically only get this part down, and then I'm like, I need a break. I can't do this. And he just conveniently called me at the right time. So I'm gonna put down this yellow heart. You can see everything is sort of wrinkly over here, so I'm trying to smooth it out as much as possible, but I'm just gonna cover up that wrinkle with the yellow heart. And now you can see my clothes have changed because I had to get dressed to take him to school. And I've come back to this a few hours later with a little bit of a fresher brain. So I'm going to, I love this Love You More Every Day, and I want to incorporate it into the page, but I don't want it to be like sort of the title. I just want it to be almost part of this background down here. So I'm going to just put it right here over the pens, and then I'm going to take these hearts and I'm going to wrap them around the sentiment as well as the top of the pens up here. And that sort of creates a little bit more of a customization. Hello, Aries. A little bit more of a customization of the paper, and it feels like I did a little bit more on that side. Of course, I put the wrong date on here. I did it backwards, 12th instead of 21. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I might just ignore it. All right, so you can see I have some letters up here that I actually used an old Cocoa Daisy stamp for, and I stamped them on the ledger paper from the Traveler's Notebook and cut it out. And I had this grand idea of, you can see up there in the top left corner, sort of a measuring tape wrapping, and I had this grand idea of these letters wrapping, or no, the measuring tape wrapping around these letters, and it says look at you grow, and I thought that that would tie in really well, but the execution did not come together as well as I wanted it to. And so instead of fighting with it and adding in this like piece that was kind of cute by itself but looked really weird with those pens, I decided to just go in a different direction. It's not like I needed more measuring tapes anyway. I just had this idea stuck in my head, and sometimes you have to deal with the ideas that are stuck in your head, even if they turn out bad, or they might turn out bad. Because they won't get out of your head. So instead I went into my Cocoa Daisy stash and pulled out these orange letters, and I'm going to put them on the page here, and I'm going to put this little heart here, add in a few bits and bobs, and I'm actually going to add my journaling above my title, which feels a little bit counterintuitive for me, honestly, but it ends up looking fine. And I didn't, really have anywhere to put it underneath the title, and I thought about sandwiching the journaling between the title and the pens, but that was going to look really awkward too. So we just add the journaling to the top of the page, as well as this little tag here, and we're going to call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. And if you are interested in starting a Cocoa Daisy subscription, there is an affiliate link in the description box below. And I will see you next time. Thank you.